Cyprus, 2013. Banks lock their doors. When they reopen, 40% of your savings are gone. Legal. Executive Order 6102, 1933. FBI agents demand your gold. Refuse? 10 years in prison. Pennsylvania, 1942. A family arrested for owning 60 pounds of flour. These aren't ancient history. These are legal precedents sitting in emergency powers legislation right now, waiting. When crisis hits, 5 specific assets get seized first, with detection tech you've never considered. We're covering what they take, how they find it, and the protocols that make you invisible. Survival maxim. The most dangerous thing you own is something everyone knows you have.
Asset 1. Fuel and generators. First target, always. Diesel, gasoline, propane, over 20 gallons, generators. Why? Without fuel, every emergency system collapses within 72 hours. Ambulances stop. Hospitals go dark. Your 500-gallon tank versus keeping the regional hospital running, you lose. Not because they're evil, because they're desperate with legal authority backing them. How they find it? That backyard propane tank is visible from satellite right now. Google Earth sees it. Resource teams pull property records, cross-reference aerial imagery, build target lists. Your tank is on a map with your address. Thermal drones make it easier. Propane has heat signatures. Generators create heat blooms on FLIR. One drone pass catalogs every house with backup power. Acoustic detection is worse. Your generator sounds quiet in your garage, but in a blackout with zero ambient noise, human hearing detects it from a quarter mile. Sound propagates differently when there's no traffic, no AC units, no lawn equipment. That ambient noise floor drops from 65 decibels to 30. Suddenly, your quiet 57 decibel generator is the loudest thing for a mile. Resource teams drive with windows down and follow the sound. You've advertised your exact location. Visual beacon effect. You've got electricity when nobody else does. Lights in windows, glowing screens, smoke from chimneys. In total darkness, your house is a lighthouse screaming resources here. A candle flame is visible for miles. Your illuminated living room, it's a billboard. Even with light discipline, thermal signatures betray you. You're warm, everyone else is freezing. That temperature differential is a targeting indicator. Countermeasure? Decentralization and signature reduction. Ditch the single giant tank. Use 55-gallon drums labeled pool chemicals or rainwater collection. 6 drums distributed across your property equals 330 gallons without the obvious footprint. They find 1 drum, you lose 55 gallons. Not everything. Strategic dispersal prevents total loss. For generators, underground baffling. 3-inch PVC pipe runs exhaust into a buried chamber 30 to 50 feet away. Chamber filled with steel wool or fiberglass insulation in sealed bags. Hot exhaust heats the material, but thermal mass absorbs sound energy. Exhaust vents to atmosphere through perforated pipe. Above ground, your generator sounds like distant wind. Exhaust signature disperses and doesn't correlate to your location. Alternative is acoustic enclosures with mass-loaded vinyl and rubber isolation mounts. Reduces noise 20 to 30 decibels. Detection radius drops from a quarter mile to 75 feet. Light discipline is non-negotiable. Blackout curtains on every window. Test them from the outside at night. Any light leakage is vulnerability. Use red spectrum lights or minimize artificial lighting entirely. For heating, avoid smoke. Electric heat from your suppressed generator. High-efficiency wood stoves with secondary combustion producing minimal visible smoke. Solar panels present different challenges. Rooftop installations scream independent power from above. Counter is ground-mounted arrays behind privacy fencing or tree canopy. You lose 15 to 25% efficiency, but gain invisibility. Panels hidden behind 8-foot fence are invisible to aerial observation. But power is worthless without intel. You need to know which roads have checkpoints, where search teams operate, which neighborhoods are being raided. You need communication, which brings us to why your antenna tower makes you priority target number 1.
Asset 2. Communication equipment. Ham radios, GMRS units, satellite phones, CB systems, high-gain antennas, mesh networks, software-defined radios. Anything letting you communicate without government-controlled infrastructure. Why seize these? Information control is foundational for managing civil unrest. Every coup follows the same playbook. Seize broadcasting, shut down independent networks, establish information monopoly. Your ability to communicate independently is a threat vector requiring neutralization. Detection is RF triangulation. When you transmit, you emit electromagnetic signals traceable to point of origin. Radio direction finding has existed since World War II, refined for 80 years. Modern digital RDF systems pinpoint transmission sources to within meters in seconds. 3 or more monitoring stations detect your signal, measure time delay between reception. Basic geometry provides your location. First sweep narrows to neighborhood, second sweep gets your block, third sweep identifies your house number. Military-grade systems and helicopters do this in under 60 seconds. Here's the danger. During declared communication emergencies with mandated radio silence, transmitting itself becomes the crime. Content is irrelevant. The signal is the violation. You press talk to check if your friend has power? Congratulations, federal offense. You just broadcast your location to every monitoring station in range. You're an unauthorized node. That makes you priority for equipment confiscation. Countermeasure? Receive only. These 2 words should be tattooed on your brain. Passive reception doesn't emit signals, can't be detected, can't be triangulated. Want intelligence? Listen. Monitor emergency frequencies, scan ham bands, listen to shortwave, eavesdrop on active frequencies, but don't transmit, don't respond, don't acknowledge. Radio silence is absolute. This single discipline provides comprehensive situational awareness without any detection signature. Most preppers struggle with receive only because it feels passive. You hear someone calling for help and instinct says respond. You want to coordinate with your network. Resist that instinct. Every transmission gambles with operational security. Unless it's an immediate life-threatening emergency where benefit clearly outweighs risk, maintain absolute silence. This is hard, psychologically difficult, but it's the difference between maintaining capability and losing everything in 72 hours. Antenna vulnerability. That rooftop array giving you exceptional range, it's a giant flag advertising advanced communications here. Visible to neighbors, visible to patrols, visible to aerial recon. Defeats the purpose of covert capability if everyone sees professional antenna infrastructure on your roof. Counter is stealth design. Dip-pull wire antennas in attics, long wire along roof lines under eaves, random wire through trees disguised as support cables, clothesline antennas that actually function as clotheslines. You lose 20 to 30% performance but remain invisible. That trade is tactically sound. Faraday storage for backups. Primary gear stays accessible, but backup radios, spare handhelds, and replacement components need protection in Faraday containers. Metal ammo cans with conductive gasket seals, multiple layers of aluminized mylar bags, galvanized trash cans with tight lids. Serves dual purposes: EMP protection from nuclear detonation, solar events, or EMP weapons, and blocks all electromagnetic signals both directions. Equipment inside proper Faraday containers is electronically invisible, can't be remotely pinged, can't have firmware interrogated, can't be detected by scanning. It's dark until you activate it. But here's what nobody tells you. All the intel in the world is worthless if you're starving. If neighbors know you're eating while they're on starvation rations, if inspection teams find a stockpile, which brings us to the most psychologically complex asset, food, and why your full pantry is legally a crime.
Asset 3. Food stockpiles. Bulk rice, wheat, beans, cases of canned goods, freeze-dried buckets, livestock, large gardens, grain storage, anything representing stored calories exceeding immediate consumption needs. Understanding the legal framework is critical because it contradicts American property rights concepts. Anti-hoarding legislation, real, documented, implemented repeatedly. U.S. Lever Act during WWI made food hoarding federal crime. WWI rationing criminalized excess storage. Venezuela's recent laws included prison sentences. Soviet states made private storage an offense against the collective, universal pattern. When scarcity hits, full pantries become evidence of community theft. Psychology is brutal. 10 families starve, yours doesn't, therefore you're hoarding. Your preparation is irrelevant. What matters is inequality optics during crisis. You have food, they don't. Political problem requiring solution. Redistribute your stockpile, make you vulnerable like everyone else. Detection starts with digital forensics. Every bulk Costco purchase, every 50-pound rice bag, every case of canned goods, it's in databases, credit cards, loyalty programs, online orders, already aggregated, cross-referenced. During crisis with Resource Tracking Authority, this becomes targeting roadmap. Addresses with historical bulk purchasing patterns get flagged automatically. Data already exists, they just need legal authority to act. Trash analysis tells stories. Everyone else on minimal rations has light trash with government distribution packaging. Your trash? Extra wrappers, private labels, packaging not matching official supply chains. You're eating better than established baseline. Trash proves it definitively. Anyone conducting systematic waste analysis identifies this discrepancy immediately. Human intelligence through incentivized informants. This is ugly but most effective. When desperate enough, social bonds break. Governments weaponize this. Tip lines with rewards, extra rations for actionable intelligence. Your neighbor faces choice: report your stockpile and feed his family for another week, or maintain silence and watch his kids starve. Most choose family. They'll rationalize betrayal, convince themselves you were selfish, that you deserve it. Betrayal arrives wrapped in moral justification. Countermeasure is decoy pantry. You need visible, accessible, modest supply matching expected quantities under rationing. 3 to 5 days basics: canned soup, crackers, rice, pasta, peanut butter. Keep in kitchen cabinets where anyone entering sees it. When authorities inspect, cooperate fully. Open cabinets, show what you have, express appropriate concern about difficult times, surrender the decoy willingly without resistance. The decoy serves multiple functions, satisfies inspectors' psychological need to find something. They came for food hoards, you provided access to a pantry. Not impressive, but something tangible. They check their box, note compliance, move on. Establishes you as cooperative rather than suspicious. You're not hiding anything, you're not a problem hoarder, just another struggling household. This perception reduces scrutiny, lowers your priority for follow-up inspections. Most importantly, protects your real stockpile through misdirection. They found food, mission complete. Human psychology suggests searches end when objective achieved. Use that bias. Real long-term storage requires structural concealment, making it physically invisible to anything short of destructive searches. False walls, creating dead space not visible on floor plans. Subfloor compartments accessed through carpet or furniture. Hollow spaces inside built-in cabinetry. Storage behind permanent fixtures. The critical principle is making storage architecturally implausible, not hidden rooms with bookshelf doors, too obvious, too commonly known for media. Instead, make storage exist in spaces that shouldn't exist according to visible structure. Gap between basement ceiling and first floor is 6 inches larger than standard framing requires, explained as insulation or HVAC routing. Closet 2 feet shallower than exterior wall suggests, attributed to plumbing chases. Minor discrepancies that don't trigger suspicion during casual searches. Nobody's measuring every dimension during rapid searches. Minor inconsistencies get overlooked. Absolute trash discipline is non-negotiable. Never dispose of bulk packaging in residential garbage, not once, ever. Paper and cardboard gets burned completely until only ash remains. Metal cans cleaned and distributed into random commercial dumpsters during nighttime disposal runs. Different locations, different nights. Plastic containers distributed across multiple sites. Everything broken down so pieces don't correlate or identify original contents. Your household waste stream must match decoy pantry consumption patterns. Light refuse, minimal quantity, consistent with rationing expectations. Anything else, broadcast your actual food access. But here's the brutal reality. Calories are strategically worthless if you can't treat infections from collapsed hygiene, can't manage traumatic pain, can't stop bleeding, can't address chronic conditions when pharmaceutical supply chains break. Which brings us to medical supplies and why your bathroom cabinet gets audited first.
Asset 4, medical supplies, antibiotics, pain medications, insulin, blood pressure meds, surgical equipment, trauma kits, N95 respirators, prescriptions exceeding 30-day supply, anything maintaining human physiological function when healthcare systems overwhelm or fail. Strategic calculus is identical to food. In major crisis, hospitals become fortress triage centers with armed security, resources centralized for maximum efficiency, field hospitals established for mass casualties, all requiring pharmaceutical and equipment resources far exceeding official strategic reserves. When reserves exhaust, governments issue requisition orders, private medical caches get commandeered under emergency health authority. Your personal stockpile versus field hospital operations for hundreds, you lose. Detection exploits pharmaceutical database centralization. Every prescription you filled exists in multiple interconnected databases, national prescription monitoring programs, state-controlled substance registries, insurance pharmaceutical claims, pharmacy chains with integrated records, DEA tracking for scheduled medications, already collected, already digitized, already cross-referenced.
During declared medical emergencies with authorized resource tracking, this identical data becomes targeting database. Addresses associated with antibiotic prescriptions, households with pain medications, individuals on insulin therapy, people with cardiovascular medication prescriptions. Lists generate automatically, routes optimize, emergency powers override HIPAA completely. Your medication history becomes shopping list. Second mechanism is standardized bathroom audit protocol, documented SOP for inspection teams based on probability and efficiency. People store medications in bathrooms, master bathrooms specifically, medicine cabinet, under sink, linen closets, predictable human behavior. When teams enter residences, master bathroom is first target. Pull drawers, check cabinets, examine closet shelves. Systematic and fast. Storing there makes their job effortless. They locate and confiscate your stockpile in under 5 minutes. Effective countermeasures require relocation and camouflage. Critical medical supplies should never be stored in bathrooms, never. Bathroom gets the decoy. Basic first aid matching expected household norms. Band-aids, antiseptic, OTC pain relievers in normal quantities, maybe expired cough syrup, enough to appear normal and provide something for inspection teams to find and catalog. Nothing of strategic value, nothing that matters if confiscated. Actual medical stockpile relocates to spaces completely unrelated to healthcare contexts. Home office, workshop, garage storage, craft room, inside boxes labeled for completely different contents. Office supplies, old electronics and cables, holiday decorations, tax records, automotive parts. Boring, mundane labels on boring, mundane boxes that inspection teams have zero interest examining. Camouflage through bureaucratic tedium and apparent irrelevance. This labeling strategy works because teams operate under severe time constraints, not spending 3 hours meticulously searching every storage container, hitting high-probability target locations, grabbing obvious supplies, moving to next address. 20 addresses per day per team is typical tempo, roughly 30 to 40 minutes per location including travel. If prescription medications are inside a cardboard box marked Christmas ornaments, at the back of guest bedroom closet buried with actual decorations, discovery probability approaches 0. They're not unwrapping glass ornaments looking for medicine bottles. Make search cost exceed expected return. Diversification provides redundancy against partial discovery. Don't consolidate medical supplies in single location. Distribute across 3 separate caches minimum. Different rooms, different buildings if property allows, 1 cache in primary residence, 1 in a detached workshop or garage, 1 in vehicle or offsite if accessible. Single point failure is catastrophic. They discover 1 cache, confiscate 1/3 of supplies. Not ideal, but retain operational medical capability. Lose everything simultaneously and you're completely vulnerable. Multiple smaller caches distributed across different concealment strategies multiplies redundancy, dramatically reduces total loss probability. Critical disclaimer: this is educational information about inventory management, operational security, and historical government resource requisition patterns during emergencies. Absolutely not medical advice. Do not self-diagnose, do not self-prescribe, do not self-medicate beyond OTC guidelines without professional medical consultation. Legal and ethical frameworks surrounding pharmaceutical storage are complex and jurisdiction-specific. Understand laws in your area. Consult professionals. We're discussing historical patterns, not encouraging illegal activity. But here's the final problem undermining everything else. Medical supplies and food and fuel are consumable, temporary resources eventually depleting. Hard wealth is permanent, stored value surviving currency collapse, which is precisely why governments confiscate precious metals when monetary systems fail, and why that safe deposit box you thought was secure is actually a trap.
Asset 5. Precious metals. Physical gold, silver coins and bullion, foreign currency, precious gemstones, safe deposit contents, cryptocurrency hardware wallets, anything representing stored wealth independent of government-issued fiat currency. Most extensively documented confiscation pattern in modern history because governments execute these seizures repeatedly for centuries. When fiat experiences hyperinflation, when banking systems freeze, when monetary confidence collapses, authorities require hard assets to back emergency currency or stabilize failing financial systems. They don't request voluntary cooperation, they mandate surrender under penalty of criminal prosecution. Executive Order 6102, April 5, 1933. United States federal government ordered all citizens to surrender gold coins, gold bullion, and gold certificates to Federal Reserve banks. Compensation set at $20.67 per troy ounce.
Penalty for non-compliance with $10,000 in fines, equivalent to roughly $230,000 today, and 10 years federal imprisonment. This wasn't authoritarian dictatorship. This was United States. Legal, constitutional according to Supreme Court rulings. Private gold ownership became federal crime overnight and remained illegal for over 4 decades. Cyprus, 2013. Banks declared holiday, doors locked. When reopened days later, accounts exceeding €100,000 subjected to bail-ins, deposits converted to bank equity. Citizens lost 40 to 60% of savings, preventing banking sector collapse. Lebanon, 2019-2021, banks froze accounts. Withdrawal limits made accessing your own money practically impossible. Your wealth theoretically existed, you couldn't access it, indefinitely, trapped behind legal and bureaucratic structures preventing withdrawal. This is modern confiscation. No armed soldiers, no forced entry, just paperwork and system lockouts. Seizure mechanisms vary by asset type. For physical precious metals held privately, authorities use checkpoint interdiction and detector technology, roadblocks at major transportation corridors, travel restrictions during emergencies, metal detectors at airports, train stations, bus terminals. Attempting to transport gold across state lines or international borders results in detection, confiscation, potential prosecution. For safe deposit boxes, methodology is simpler. Banks freeze and lock facilities, declare banking holidays under emergency authority, access suspended indefinitely. Authorities open boxes systematically, inventory contents, confiscate precious metals and currency under emergency requisition orders. Your safe deposit box exists inside their building under their physical control. You have no leverage, no access. For cryptocurrency, while more complex, authorities can seize hardware wallets physically, demand private keys under penalty of law, use blockchain analysis to track and freeze assets through exchange compliance. Effective countermeasure is unbanking, physical possession outside formal financial system control. Banks provide convenience and apparent security until they become confiscation mechanisms. Safe deposit boxes seem secure until access freezes. If it's inside a bank, you don't actually own it. It's in someone else's custody with legal frameworks prioritizing institutional and governmental interests over yours. Want genuine control? Need direct physical possession, in your hands, on your property, under your immediate security. For gold and silver, midnight gardening. Time-tested methodology that works because it's low-tech and immune to electronic surveillance. PVC pipe sections, 4 to 6 inch diameter, threaded end caps. Fill with desiccant packets and your precious metals. Seal properly. Bury it. Not inside house, not in the basement, in ground, on your property, somewhere you can access without equipment but isn't obvious. Mark locations using natural features and offset measurements. No treasure maps, just measurements and memory. 3 feet from oak tree on bearing of 30 degrees, 20 inches deep. Low tech. Can't be detected by financial system monitoring. Can't be discovered through database searches. Can't be seized during banking freezes. Can't be confiscated without physically excavating entire property. Burial depth matters significantly. 18 to 24 inches is optimal. Deep enough preventing accidental discovery from normal landscaping or gardening activities. Shallow enough that recovery doesn't require heavy excavation equipment drawing attention. Go deeper, you complicate recovery during emergencies. Stay shallower, you risk exposure. PVC provides protection from moisture and soil chemistry that would otherwise corrode metals. Desiccant packets prevent oxidation and tarnish. You're creating a time capsule that can remain undisturbed for years or decades until needed. High-value intelligence most preppers don't know. Junk silver loophole. Pre-1965 US dimes, quarters, and half dollars contain 90% silver content, but legally classified as circulating currency, not bullion. This creates ambiguity in confiscation orders. Executive Order 6102 specifically exempted rare coins and collectibles from gold surrender requirements. Legal definition gets fuzzy with junk silver. Is it currency? Is it collectible? Is it bullion? Depends on how confiscation orders get written. Often junk silver falls into exempt categories or gets overlooked entirely because it's not pure bullion. No guarantees, but practical legal hedge. Plus practical advantages. Smaller denominations enable easier barter transactions. Can't make change with 1 ounce gold coin worth $2,000. Can with pre-1965 quarters. Functional utility combined with legal ambiguity.
The Ghost Protocol. 5 asset classes, 5 detection methodologies, 5 concealment protocols. But if you think this is just about hiding supplies, you fundamentally missed the point. This is operational security as complete lifestyle.
strategic invisibility as survival philosophy. Objective is appearing statistically average while being privately exceptional. Being household nobody thinks about, neighbor who blends completely into background normalcy. Not because you're paranoid, because you're strategically intelligent. Strategic invisibility begins with understanding what makes you visible. Patterns, anomalies, deviations from statistical baseline. That rooftop antenna, full garbage bins during rationing, lights when everyone's dark, prescription histories showing bulk purchases, visible fuel tanks. These are signals. Each one is vulnerability. Your mission is eliminating every signal, not by hiding in bunkers, by blending into statistical average, making your household appear identical to every other household from external observation while being fundamentally different underneath. Maintain public appearances with religious discipline. Participate in community activities. Show up for official distributions even when you don't need them. Complain about shortages authentically. Display appropriate hardship. Decoy pantry principle extends to entire public persona and social presence. What neighbors observe, what systems record, what casual attention captures must all paint a picture of normal, average, struggling like everyone else. Nothing interesting, nothing worth investigating further. Underneath that carefully maintained facade, you're completely self-sufficient. Energy, food, medical capability, hard assets, intelligence access, everything the system wants to requisition, you possess it, but it's invisible, structurally concealed, digitally silent, socially camouflaged. The gap between your apparent status and actual capability is your safety margin. That gap is survival. Reality check. Every system fails eventually. Every concealment gets discovered if they search hard enough with enough resources. You can execute everything perfectly and still experience loss. Universe doesn't care about fairness. Randomness exists. Bad luck exists. Betrayal exists. You can't control everything. What you can control is cost-benefit analysis of targeting your household. Make search expensive. Make expected returns low. Make easier targets more attractive. You don't need invisibility to everyone, just lower visibility than most people around you. Predators take easiest prey. Be difficult prey. This requires accepting trade-offs. Perfect security means zero operational capability. If your generator is buried so deep it can't be detected, you also can't use it. If your food is hidden so thoroughly you can't access it, you'll start anyway. You need functional operational security. Security that allows actually using your resources while maintaining acceptable risk levels. You're not eliminating all risk. You're managing risk to sustainable thresholds based on your specific situation and threat environment. Plan for compromise. Assume at some point, some portion of your preparations gets discovered or confiscated. Have redundancy. Have backups. Have contingency plans for worst-case scenarios. They find your main food cache, you've got 2 others they don't know about. They confiscate your generator, you've got solar panels they haven't seen. They seize your communication gear, you've got backup radio in a Faraday container buried off-site. Layered security, redundant systems, no single point of failure. This is how you survive initial confiscation wave and still maintain capability. Mindset shift is from hiding to blending. Hiding implies you're static, passive, waiting not to be found. Blending is active, dynamic. You're managing perception, controlling information flow, shaping narrative about who you are and what you have. It's psychological warfare, information control, strategic theater, and its difference between being targeted and being overlooked. That's the GHOST protocol. Not a single technique, comprehensive approach to surviving an environment where ownership is conditional and confiscation is legal, where your preparedness makes you target unless you manage it correctly, where authorities have maps and databases and search teams and legal authority to take what they need, where your only defense is being strategically invisible, being a target they never see, household they never think about, an anomaly that never registers on their detection systems. You can do this. You can adapt. You can use these principles to protect what's yours while appearing to have nothing special. You can operate in plain sight while remaining fundamentally hidden. It requires discipline, consistency, accepting that your safety depends on being boring, on being forgettable, on being statistically average while privately exceptional. That's the price of security in a collapsing system. Or ignore all this. Keep that big propane tank in your yard. Keep running that loud generator. Keep that roof antenna broadcasting your capabilities. Keep all your supplies in obvious places. Keep your trash full of evidence.
Keep your digital footprint screaming about bulk purchases and precious metals. And when they come knocking, when they've got your address on their list, when they show up with legal authority and a truck, you can be surprised. You can be indignant. You can insist on your rights. And then watch them load everything up and drive away. Your choice. Just don't take too long making it. Preparation window is always smaller than you think.